Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Awaken Suddenly Live Quick Talk. Tonight, Fear, the Enemy of Humanity. It is 7:45, well, close enough, Pacific Standard Time, and it is Wednesday, March 27th, and you are here live on the Awaken the World group page. With me, the person behind the voice. So, the reason this talk came about actually is spent an hour on a live video chat with one of our group members today. And, fear keeps rearing its ugly head. And we really need to talk about fear because fear truly is the enemy of humankind as a whole. Now, before we get into that, I want to talk about something that God, in Conversations with God, written by Neil Donald Walsh and God, termed the originating thought. You see, a lot of the thoughts that come by us that we would believe to be our own are drawn to us by the thought that we have that we're not enough, an example. And the thought of we're not enough angles you right into that thought stream. So all of the collective unconsciousness, everything about being not enough, comes directly into your being, right into your mind. That stream comes flowing right through there. And if you make the mistake of identifying with those stream of thoughts, of course, you just begin to pile more on top of that. So a lot of times we have to look more deeply, when we're going to make a decision or do something in our lives, we have to look and make sure that our originating thought is not one of less than, or not good enough, or not able to complete the task on my own, or fear, any of those sort of things. Because, of course, they're all based around fear. And fear, in its normal, sense as relates to us as unconscious beings, well, the fear of seeing a bear a couple hundred feet away from you on the trail is a good fear. Now, you shouldn't allow that fear to take you over, but there should be a momentary, realization and a twinge inside you that this is not something to be trifled with. And so many people, they're so numb to what they're being told at a body level that they don't even notice that. But what happened with fear is, of course, in our collective unconsciousness, in that identification with this as a data collection unit that it is, we develop all sorts of fears, all based on things that may occur, and those are all based on the past, right? So if we haven't dealt with something in the past, we're going to see it reoccur in our life. And when it does, we are going to be afraid again. Now, we have a couple of choices, of course. We can succumb to that fear. And let me make this perfectly clear. This is not a race. There's no prize for getting there first. Your development and growth will happen at its own natural pace, the pace that it's supposed to happen at. Never beat yourself up or become frustrated that for some reason you're not progressing in the way you think you need to progress. That's not being fair to yourself. So these fears come up, right? And these fears are often masquerading. Hello there, Danielle. So nice to see you this evening. I see Danielle has popped in. Very nice to see you. And, thank you for being here. It's not just the Lyrica pills that I'm taking, and the screen. There's actually someone else there. And that's okay. As I said to Kelly, And nobody has to watch any of my YouTube videos, and 10,000 years in the future, someone will dig up an old YouTube server and my videos will still be intact on it. And maybe then they will change the world. And of course, it's not really up to us to change the world. The goal is to work on ourselves. We need to become the reflection of what we wish to see in the world. And when we become that reflection wholly and completely, then others will flock to that reflection. Now, that reflection has no fear in it. And this is why fear can be such a devastating thing. We allow fear, and fear masquerades as a lot of things. And one of the biggest masqueraders of all, of course, is anger. Anger is always based in unspoken fears. So let's just go through a few things to help relieve a little bit of fear. Because, it's one thing to say, well, you need to walk through your fear. And you do. Sooner or later, the universe will keep bringing it around to you again and again and again until you learn to walk through it fearlessly. But in the meantime, is there anything that we can come up with that can allay a lot of the common fears, a lot of the fears that ego likes to participate in, to bathe in a lot of the time? So let's just knock off a few of the unreasonable fears of ego. And I really want you to take these to heart, because this will help remove a lot of fear in your life. 1, fearing another person's response to who you choose to be. This is a big fear for a lot of people. Now, this fear is totally illogical and totally unreasonable, and we can throw it right out. It has no basis whatsoever. The concept that what you say or who you are is going to affect someone else, and that you are going to be able to control how they choose to perceive you, is just plain nuts. You have no control outside of yourself. You never did. Therefore, fearing another's opinion of you makes no sense at all. The other's opinion is simply the reflection that they're seeing in the mirror of you. And it's their reflection and how they're processing it according to their environment and what's happened with them that's determining how they perceive you. It has nothing to do with you. There is nothing you can do about it. So let go of that fear. There's no need to hold on to that fear. It is a false fear. There are some real fears. The fear of falling. That's a real fear. But the fear of what someone else may think about you or how they may react to you is meaningless. You have no control over it. And when you have no control over it, there's no need to fear it. All you need to do is decide what you're going to be in response to that. So, what's another good fear that we can, sort of dispense with? Well, this is a tough one for a lot of people, but we could just throw the fear of death right out the door. Because death is just a word to describe something we don't understand. And as someone who's experienced that something we don't understand a couple times, I can tell you that none of us have anything to worry about. So allow that fear to dissipate, even if it's just for a moment. Allow that fear to relax and understand that death isn't something to be feared. Death is a word that we write on a piece of paper or say out loud. There really is no death, and that's the truth. Another one of the fears that we have in life is, and this one, of course, depending on how heavily you've been immersed in religion in your life, is the fear that you're doing something wrong or not getting it right. Now, we can let go of that fear completely because in reality, there is no such thing as you doing it wrong or not getting it right. Our physical existence and our continual returning to the physical existence is just a beautiful system that allows itself to work itself out. That there is no personal karma that is after you. It is a natural exchange of energy and a natural returning of the balance of energy. So in reality, you have nothing to fear in that regard. You really don't. Now, there's one more fear, and this fear can often cause complete paralysis in people. They can stop doing anything. And that is the concept that you are not whole and complete and capable just as you are. You see, before you were born, that which you were made a plan for this existence, knowing what you were to become in this existence, knowing who your parents were, knowing the major milestones in your life, those events that would shape your evolution and your growth. There is nothing in your existence that hasn't been lovingly placed there, in perfect harmony with that which you chose to create in this adventure in this physical realm. Relax. You cannot possibly do anything to mess this journey up. There is no step you can take that is not the right step, because our very existence here is one of natural self-correction. When we do things that are contrary to our own good, contrary to the natural order of things, contrary to nature, the seeds of our destruction in that way or mode of operating are present. Just as we see in our society, our capitalistic society based on the idea of ever-growing, continual growth is against the natural order. And we're beginning to see the fallout of that. These changes all come about naturally, and they come about naturally in you too. Your evolution is assured. Your future is never in doubt. I hope this has done some good to help relieve some of the fears within you. Understand that fear is truly one of the worst enemies that you're going to face within yourself. Let go of your fears. Look at them closely. Look at them with a deeper understanding of the truth of your existence, and go ahead and walk right on through. Much love to you this evening. Namaste to you all from both Kelly and myself. We look so forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Good night.